All right, today we're diving into a modern classic that has just floored millions of readers, Markus Zusak's The Book Thief. Now, this is a story set right in the heart of Nazi Germany, but what makes it so powerful is this wild, unexpected perspective that completely redefines the whole experience.
Right from the jump, the novel hits you with this question that turns everything on its head. And this isn't just some clever literary trick, It's the very soul of the book. The entire story, all of its joy, all of its sorrow, is filtered through the eyes of the one guy who's there for everyone at the end. And that single choice, wow, it completely changes how we look at life, loss, and what it even means to be human.
So, that brings us right to our first big topic, the narrator himself. The decision to have death, yes, death, tell the story of a young girl during World War II is exactly what makes The Book Thief so memorable. It sets it apart from pretty much anything else you'll ever read.
Zusak just completely flips the script on what we think of the Grim Reaper. We're all expecting this cruel, sinister figure, right? But instead, we get an observer who is, well, he's tired, he's burdened by his job, and believe it or not, he's compassionate. This version of death isn't just collecting souls. He's carrying their stories with him, and he's genuinely haunted by the humans he watches. It makes you think that maybe even this ultimate, unchanging force can be affected by our fleeting, beautiful, and sometimes terrible lives.
Now, you'd think that knowing what's going to happen would spoil the whole thing, right? No suspense. But here, it does the exact opposite. Death tells you things before they happen all the time, which creates this profound sense of, well, dread. The focus completely shifts from what happens to the much bigger questions of how and why. It just makes every single moment feel heavier, more meaningful.
So, death's focus on stories, it naturally leads us to the absolute core theme of the novel. The incredible and kind of scary two-sided power of words.
And this idea, it's really the central battle happening throughout the entire book. Words can be weapons. They can be used for hatred and control. But they can also be these incredible tools for comfort and connection. The whole story is just balanced on this razor's edge between those two realities.
So on the one hand, you've got the Nazi regime literally weaponizing language. They're using propaganda to fuel hate and control an entire country. But then, on the other hand, you have our main character, Liesel, and for her, words are, well, they're everything. They're a lifeline. The books she steals aren't just things, they are instruments of comfort, connection, and her own quiet, personal resistance.
You can literally watch Liesel's whole life unfold through her relationship with words. It all kicks off with this defiant act, stealing a book at her brother's graveside that she can't even read. Then it grows, as her foster father patiently teaches her in their basement, and it just blossoms in her friendship with Max, the Jewish man they hide, a friendship built almost entirely on sharing stories. She literally grows up through language.
But, even with all this darkness and this destructive side of words, the story's real heart is found in these small, almost quiet acts of humanity. It's about finding that light that somehow manages to shine through even in the bleakest possible moments. The heroism here isn't about grand gestures or big battles. It's quiet, it's subtle. You see it in Hans Hubermann's gentle compassion, which is kind of the moral anchor of the whole book. You see it hiding underneath Rosa's tough, foul-mouthed exterior. You see it in the simple, innocent friendship between Liesel and her best friend Rudy. And most importantly, you see it in their huge collective decision to hide a man the regime wants to destroy.
And that one single decision, to hide Max Vandenberg in their basement, that is the ultimate act of defiance in this story. This wasn't just being nice. This was a choice that could get them all killed. It was a conscious stand against an entire ideology of hate. Everything else in the book kind of orbits around this one massive act of courage.
Okay, so when you pull all these threads together, this one-of-a-kind narrator, the power of words, these quiet acts of heroism, you really start to see why this story has stuck with so many people for so long, and why it still feels so important today.
And it really boils down to this. The Book Thief is a tribute to the enduring power of words and the quiet courage of those who choose kindness in a world of cruelty. It's not just about surviving a war. It's about how you survive and what you choose to hold on to while you do it.
And that's what's so brilliant about this book, right? It's this incredible balancing act. It dives headfirst into this really heavy, tragic subject matter, but it never lets you drown in it. Instead, Zusak fills the story with these moments of real warmth, genuine humor, and just this unshakable hope. It perfectly honors both the massive pain and the incredible resilience of the human spirit.
So, in the end, this whole explainer, and really, the entire novel, it all comes down to one big question. Can a story be more powerful than a weapon? The book thief makes a pretty compelling case that in the hands of ordinary people, the answer is a huge, resounding yes.